Love is a strong and intense feeling or emotion towards someone. There are different types of love as applied to the marriage covenant between two people. What are these forms of love and how do they apply in marriage? Stay tuned as we learn more about love in today's episode of the Marriage Classroom.
Yes, good evening, class. Good evening. Yes, welcome again to the Marriage Classroom. We are always honored to have you in the class as a teacher. I also learn as you learn, okay? Yes. Welcome our viewers. I believe that you've been with us for this long. And in case you miss our lessons, you can go to the YouTube or the Marriage Classroom and find always the videos and even the notes. So today we continue with our topic. We did last lesson, but now because we were looking at what love's got to do with marriage, the letter L, and we said there is a lot, isn't it? A lot. And so, briefly, we can just remind ourselves, we looked at 4 types of love that should be there in marriage, but we're going to look at one of them. The highest was? Yes, George?
Agape love.
Yes, and that is there?
The godly sacrificial love.
Yes, the everlasting sacrificial love of God, the one that He loved us. And I believe that's also, we expected the way that God loved us, we also love one another. Not because they qualify, we love people. Then the other one was? Yes, Faith?
Storge love.
Yes, storge love, that is supposed to be within
the family.
Yes, within the family. The one that is royal, protective, and long-lasting, because there is kinship. People are related. The other, third one, Constance?
Philia.
Yes, the filial love. Which one is that, filial love?
That one is for friends.
Yes, close friends. And especially those friends that really are there during the time of adversity. Those people, as the Bible would call them, they stick closer than a brother. And I said, and this is important, as Christians, this should be the love that we give to one another. We have brotherly love. You can use the word sisterly love if you think it is not being gender sensitive. But that brotherly love is where now we can be there for one another. That none should be lacking among us. No one would say I have no family if they have come to the Christian family. And Jesus said, they will know you are Christians by, that you are my disciples if you do what? You love one another. How well are we known that we are Christians if we do not even love our own? Let's express that philia. And then the last one, which we are going to look at today more, is the fourth one. Which one is that?
Eros.
The Eros. The Eros love, which we said is what?
Romantic and affectionate.
Romantic, affectionate, passionate. But also say something about it. That it is what?
Expression.
Somebody, yes, it is?
Expression.
Yes, yeah, you must express it. Even the rest, you must express it. There's something that we said about it, yes, Leah?
It's the love that we experience in marriage.
Yes, it is the love that is experienced between man and wife or husband and wife when they are married or they are in that marriage relationship. The Eros keeps, it's like the spice in that marriage, okay? It's what makes, like, you're having a car that has to run. If you don't oil it, then you sure know, you continue. But you know what will happen to the tumors.
So
Yeah.
it's the backbone of marriage.
Yeah, because the rest, as we say, the agape are there, you love people, all of them, even enemies. If he becomes your enemy or she becomes your enemy, you still love her. The storge is because they are relations and you have your brothers. And then the philia, brotherly love, maybe before even you loved her, you were in the same fellowship. Okay? She was singing in the choir. So she experienced the filial love. But then after that, there was some do-do. Okay? And then the legs, as she conducts the chorus, and then there is and then what else? No, sema ako, atasikia, What did you see? What did you feel?
mostly we were in the choir,
Uh-huh.
and then she was just singing, and then I had hallelujah.
How did the hallelujah get into you?
My heart just melted.
Oh, it's not like any other hallelujah that would be said by somebody.
It's not just any howling.
Eh.
It was just so unique.
Are you sure it was so unique, or it
Yes.
was because there was something that was, there was a chord?
I believe that.
Ile tunasema there is a chord in your heart. Ilikuwa inaguzwa.
Even the way she was saying it, hallelujah, I was feeling, wow, this is unique.
And he became the only amen in that church.
Yeah, and whether there
Actually,
was,
when we were praying, everyone was praying. Me, I was not praying. I was praying like 1 minute, and then I opened my eyes, just staring, telling God, just fulfill my desire. Yes, and He fulfilled.
Oh, wow. I see. Now you can say, and Abraham,
Yeah,
such an experience.
Mine was pretty different. Every time she approached, I could feel goosebumps all over my body. And I wonder, kwani ni nini mbaya? And it used to happen only when she approaches.
Approaches,
Yeah.
But the rest wakipita
The rest
tu
ni
kama-
normal. Lakini akiingia unasikia tumbo. Wah!
Okay, not for everyone, eh?
Not for everyone.
Yes, wanapita tu unasikia kama hata umeguzwa na chuma baridi.
Exactly.
Lakini akiguza ni waya
Yes,
ya stima. Iko moto. Okay. That is it. You can realize that this is not just any other type of love. It has some ways of, as he was saying, it can also cause somebody almost feel like you have a mild heart attack. Okay?
The pressure, the blood pressure.
The pressure.
Inapanda ikishuka.
Inapanda ikishuka.
Yes.
Then you seem like you are having a panic attack. Some says, I can't breathe. No, why can't you breathe? Oh, I pray that it remains, okay?
Yes.
But we also said there's something else that is very characteristic of this love. You know, different from the rest, that it's very volatile. Okay?
Yes.
So it can easily be scared away. It's like a cadaver, you know, the way we talk about, maybe that's why Don William was talking about, I fall like a sparrow, fly like a dove. Because it seems like it can easily be scared. So it is volatile. Seems like it may not last if it's not taken care of.
It is a bit fragile.
Yes,
It's
then we can say
handle with care.
handle with care.
Yes.
Then you said also something that it is blind.
Very bright.
So inaweza fuga macho kila wakati. Unafanya makosa, imefuga.
Hata ina macho.
Hata haina macho. Wakati gani inafungua? Remember we said, what do you say? Love covers a multitude of sins.
Yes.
And sometimes there are those people who almost wonder, can't he see, she see, I mean, what? But he seems not to see because they love the person, okay? Hata huoni makosa yake. I mean, hata huoni kama akiongea, you know, pengine mata inatoka. Wewe unaona offended, lakini yeye hata haoni, si ni kweli? So some of those things, your love is blind to that. But when we start now see the mistakes, what is happening to that love? Seems like it is
Reducing.
Yeah, in the way we say in Kikuyu, in Greek, nyoratigiara. Okay? Kutigiara means mumekuwa ikitokea au inanyonywa lakini inapungua, hakuna mtu anafanya nini? Yes. That's why you find in any time you have even a car, for you to keep moving on, you have to keep checking. Check some of those vital things that should be there. You go and open, unaenda ukiwa mafuta, unajua wengine tunafikiri mafuta tu, ni mafuta tu tunahitaji. Lakini somebody tells you, can we check your engine? Sema, nikufungie be, hapana wacha ufungua huko. Only to realize there was never engine oil. The brake ilikuwa imeisha, na pengine hata maji una. So whether you have petrol, you may reach a place and you can't continue. Because there are some of those things that need to align every other thing. Whether it is a machine that is going on, they must be aligned, you know, so that they don't, keep what? Eating one another, okay? So, And that's what we are looking at today. As we look at the letter L of love now, and our love now comes to now eros, because this is one which we said is the one that is supposed to be between man and woman. The one that we should take care of. It's so fragile. It can easily be scared away. When things come, sometimes they push it to a corner. Ukiwa na mashida, eros seems to be the one which serves the casualty. Okay? Nimechoka. Utaki? Uski? Okay? Unashindwa sasa huyu mtu ananisuburia nini? Because sometimes it's the one which is easily the casualty. Yes. You cook because he's hungry. You will iron his clothes, or if she's in hospitals, we say you can even visit her and all that. But there are those times we don't even want to express that we really love them. We care about them. You know, you look at them and it's like they don't even elicit any emotion. Okay? Ni kama tu huruma kama ya mtu mgonjwa. Unasikia? Unahurumia yeye kama watu wote. Ile tunasema huruma ya Mungu. But you don't find like this person really excites me. Now we need to understand, where does the rain start beating us? Okay, so let's look at, I want just to use some information from a Christian writer called Gary Chapman. You can you get the book, I think I can forward to the class data. Gary Chapman. Gary Chapman has written a book called The 5 Languages of Love. It's a quite interesting book because trying to explain that each one of us, you know, he's a marriage counselor, and he says that, you know, one of the ways to make your marriage thrive and be able to, you know, like what we are saying, you know, to add the engine oil to do that, either kuchochea. Is it kuchochea? Okay. Yeah? To make it like fun is where we can be able to understand one another, the language of their love. How do they want love expressed? Because sometimes we are so different. The last exercise, for those maybe who are new to class, last time we looked at letter K. How well do you know your spouse? Okay? And there was an exercise, 10 questions where you are supposed to answer something about your wife or your husband, about his personal things, what his favorite food, his color, and all that. And hata shuleni alisomea ili tujue kama mliongea. Kwa sababu wengine hata wala hawajui, pengine hata kama alisoma hata shule. Umeambiwa nilifika secondary lakini hujui kama alimaliza au alimalizwa na shule. Unajua kuna wale wanasema nilimaliza shule, and I keep wondering, ni kumaliza au ni kumalizwa? Kwa sababu shule zinaendelea. Yeah, so usiseme kama spouse yako alisema nilimaliza shule, mwambie shule zinaendelea. Kama kuna tunaweza soma hata tukiwa wazee. I encourage all of you, isn't it? Yes, so it's good. Hata kama si shule kubwa, ni ya kujua course kitu aweza fanya. Okay, so he talks about that if people are able to understand one another, you know one another, then you know their language of love, how they would want love expressed to them, or how they would want to express love. Then he kusema haniambi kama ananipenda, and he thinks you like it this way. If he doesn't know, he may not do it. But if you can be able to understand each other's language of love, then we can easily, you know how we can also help one another. Wewe unamwambia mimi huwa nafurahia ukifanya hivi. Okay? Au mimi ningependa wewe ukifanya hivi. That's why he calls them. And he says that the languages will apply to relationships, and also everyone has a primary love language. And so we need to know which one is most important to us and to our partner. And that is something we will give you an assignment as you go home, but we still do something in the class. So the 5 languages of love, according to Gary Chapman. So he calls them 5 languages of love. Okay, so the 5 languages of love. So we have the first one. Now there are those who prefer, if you really love me, Tell me. Tell it. Then that is through words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. So the words of affirmation is where now you are able to appreciate, as we said, love is giving that affection, showing it. How do you do it? By the words of affirmation. So affirmation is okay. So affirmation, that should be N. So affirmation means you are telling people. How do you affirm somebody? Say, by the way you look handsome in that shirt. That's somebody's. Yes, that's affirmation. Thank you. I love you. You know that word sometimes like we think once we get married, we leave it to wale hata wajui kuitumia. I tell somebody, nikibadilisha nitakwambia when I still love you, so, or you can say I love you times 100. Kama unaweza acha pahali uandike kwa board asubuhi. Asomage 1 times 100. So akisoma mara moja, akitoka nje akirudi akute times 2, okay? But tulisema times 100. But what we are saying, you should never tire. Let's say this. I don't know how many of us here in class love being told, I love you. Almost all of us. How do we have one of them demanding more of it than the other? No, what I'm saying is this. There is somebody who is so easily telling the other person, I love you. Huyo mwingine anasema, me too. Yeye anarudisha tu, me too. Haya. Okay. Okay, likewise. Same. Lakini hawezi anzia ya kwanza. Si yeye anaanzia I love you. Yeye tu yake ni same. Me too. Likewise. Okay. Neke hayo mwingine ashido, kwa nini ananiambia hivyo? Pengine kwa sababu hujamwambia hata wewe ungetaka akwambie. Yes. I know all of us would thrive on that. And so I want to challenge one another. It doesn't clearly, just the same way you can talk about kwa nini kiatu iko pale. The same way, the same mouth can say, I love you. And it doesn't mean because she did well last night, or she washed your clothes. We said that can be there even when it overlooks mistakes. It's a bit blind. Yes, and as the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it talks about love suffering long and is kind, does not envy, does not parade itself, it's not puffed up. In fact, it says love does not rejoice in wrong, but rejoices the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Yes. Okay, so what happens? There is that time when you feel like somebody has not done the way you're supposed to have done. What do? You still know that the mistake is not equal to them. Yes. There's a problem where we equate a mistake to the person. So unaona anakaa hiyo makosa tu. Hakai kuambiwa anapendwa kwa sababu alichoma nguo ya pasi. Na hiyo ni ajali.
Ama chakula ilipita chumvi.
Au iliugua. Okay? Or what else? So heroes can go beyond. It can also be agape. Where we can still tell people that we love them, we appreciate them, we regard them.
Yes.
Okay? The next language of love is gifts. Gifts. I don't know how many love gifts. But sometimes you may love gifts, but it's not like it is always a demand. There are those people who say, he doesn't love me or she doesn't love me because haniletee kitu. Because to her, just don't come saying mkono mtupu, I love you. Show me. Okay? Yeah, prove it. And for some ladies who don't even understand how you love them, and you can't come, you have never brought even a chocolate or a flower. Hata kama ni moja, uchune tu kwa jirani ukipita hapo. Bugandifilia. Ukuje na bugandifilia hiyo inakaa iko na maua mingi. Mwambie hii ni ya siku yote. Mwende tu to Friday. Anyway, hata kama ni hiyo, just even a wild flower. Just saying, oh, I saw this, I thought of you. So beautiful. More like, for some, think once you bring the gifts, it's also a way of demonstrating love. Maybe, yes, Grace.
But in some ways, unapata ya kwamba, kwa wengi wanaona ya kwamba, ananiletea zawadi kwa sababu kuna kitu anataka kufunika. It so happens. So unapata mtu mwingine anaogopa kulete zawadi, isisemekane ya kwamba analete kwa sababu kuna mahali, kuna kitu anataka kufunika. Because it so happens, unasikia mwanamke anaambia, a lady tells a man ya kwamba, umeniletea ili ufunike kwenye umetoka. Ndio maana umekuja na maua.
Then that means there is no trust.
Yes.
And then even that love is not true, because kama uko na unashukiwa kwa jambo lingine na unakuja these one as a cover up, then it's no longer genuine love. Yes. And that's why, as we read that scripture in last time, Songs of Songs, 8 verse 6, where 7, it says, if one was to give his property or mali yake kwa sababu ya upendo, it would be utterly scorned. Because you cannot compare. As much the gifts can have their place, they cannot be, they cannot be equated to when somebody is supposed to say sorry. Tuseme umekosa. Somewhere umekosa. Na utaki kusema sorry.
Badala ya kusema
na kusema sorry unakuja na bunch of flowers or chocolate. So to show that
you are sorry.
The words of affirmation, whether it is thank you, sorry, I apologize, this is very important. Let it know. Hata kama kadi itasema I'm sorry. What about if you just said it? Maggie, you are are you laughing?
Yes, because there are times someone cannot say sorry, but they come with 1 kg of meat.
Yote ni yako. Ujijazie you sorry.
Kuku KFC.
Okay, au kuku ya KFC na inadeliviwa na Glovo.
Yes.
Mpaka amepewa huduma pa kuja kutafute. Anyway, but we are saying this is also another way of people telling I've been thinking of you. You believe in and you are bought, but you come with, hata kama ni ile chocolate ya 20 bob. Unajua kuna kingine kana kwanga ka 20 bob.
Hata sweet ya kamti.
Yes. Just something that is enough just to say, by the way, I thought about you. Yes.
What about, because I see there are also challenges to the second language, and this is out of maybe when somebody decides to despise the gift because of its value.
Yes.
Then that language gets some hindrance.
Yes.
Because if I bring something that is too small today, according to my ability as at that time, and you don't appreciate it, then that means that next time I will not be motivated to bring maybe another gift.
Another gift.
Yes.
And I hope the person is not the fact that may not be her language. Unajua wengine would want something else, like your presence. But you always, when you are there, you just come with a gift ya kufuga macho pale ulikuwa. Au umekosea. So I'm saying there are those who appreciate, for those who love gifts and know that's how I would want love expressed. Yes. Hata ukimletea sweet kama vile Chris anasema ya muti. 5 bob. That is very, to her is this, you thought about me. Okay? Yeah. So
it has reminded me that before we got married, I bought for him hiyo siti ya kamti. Na nilipokuwa ninainunua nilikuwa ninasikia have something for my lover. Na ni sweet ya 5 bob. Na wakati nilimpelekea alifurahia sana. Sana. Sana.
Uliona
Nilijiuliza kwa mimi nina pesa lakini sijinunuliagi hii. So ukiona nimeletewa, it really touched my heart.
You know what? Love is also sweet.
Yes.
Ndio mtu aketi akununulie kitu.
Yes.
Alikaa akakuwaza.
True. In fact, gifts say, I have been thinking
Yes.
about you.
Hata
And
kama
I
ni
want
Yoshi.
to, you know, I long to see your face or your reaction when I give you the gift.
Yes.
Because how you react to it is very important to me. And that's why people, the givers feel good when their gift is appreciated.
Nikumbusha nililetewa pancakes. Yes.
Zilikuwa imepikwa.
Nililetewa pancakes.
Wow.
Zimepikwa, zimeandaliwa vizuri. And it was a good gift to me.
Okay, now
Yes.
that's where we say the way to a man's heart is through the stomach.
Now through the backbone ikashuka magoti.
Ikashuka magoti. So hakuna lingine. Haya, ni sawa. Any other? Yes, Samuel.
I also think about the second language, the gifts. Mostly, it really matters a lot, the motive. Why are you buying this gift?
Yes.
And I also believe the motive will also give the expression to the other partner. Probably if you want to buy this gift for you to steer up your morale, your marriage, or you want to motivate one another, you want to express love, or maybe you want to show how important he is in the marriage. So I think the first thing before you buy this gift, you have to reason with yourself. What is the motive of this gift?
Yes.
And how is it going to be taken?
Yes.
If you have a good motive, like someone else is saying, you're going to cover something else. But if you know that my motive is, to express my love and to show her how important she is, I believe it's going to work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
True. So the third one, I know some of them we will finish in our discussion. Acts of service. Acts of service. What does that mean? Doing things for your spouse, like helping her or helping him in what he's doing or she's doing. And sometimes even without gift or anything, that can also be another way of expressing love. There are people who would say, ananipenda lakini kwa nini hanisaidii, or does not get interested in whatever I do. I think that's also another way of saying you've not understood her language or his language of love. Maybe somebody can tell me about what you think about acts of service. Yes, Grace.
Okay, ninakumbuka kuna wakati pastor alikuwa anasoma online. Na ilikuwa sometimes ni yeye lazima aende atafute ili tupate chakula. Ni hiyo msimu wa COVID na alikuwa anasoma online. Na ninakumbuka nikimwambia you will make it. Na ninamkaisha wakati anasoma. Tunakaa naye mpaka labda saa 7 anasoma, alafu then tunaenda kulala. Nakumbuka nikimwambia hata kama unasoma kwa ugumu lazima utapita. And nilikuwa ninaona kabisa ana appreciate, anafurahia hiyo. Si hati hujafanya kitu kubwa, nimemkaisha tu na yeye anasoma. And he could appreciate.
So that means if a man hata kama hasikii kuguza kitu jikoni, achukue kakiti tu akuje akukalishe. It could be better than
yes.
Kukua kwa city room.
Unajua akiwa huko atakuwa anafanya kitu kwa sababu labda ndiye anakwambia hiyo maziwa itachemka. You know that's also doing something.
Yes.
Because sasa ndiye anakuonea.
Okay. Then Rea?
In our African culture, there are some duties that are dictated to a certain gender. For example, the wife or the husband. Normally in the African culture setup, cooking and washing and doing everything is they're meant for women or the wives, so to say. So you may find that even in our culture, we all have different jobs, and maybe your husband is maybe your wife is coming up late. Maybe she's a doctor, like Jacinta, and Maybe she'll be coming late because of shifts. And you, the husband, by 4 p.m. you're at home. It doesn't make sense that your wife will come at 9 and start cooking. So it dictates that you as a husband, you might help with cooking.
Or you have prepared a little bit and anakuja kusaidia.
Exactly.
And that also maybe the wife feels ananipenda. Sijui kama Jacinta anaweza jitetea. Alikualizia on that.
Okay, I'll speak from my own experience. I've seen like right now I'm working and we have a young boy. So sometimes I'm not in a position to do everything, but I find my husband actually atakuwa zile za hey, ninatoka mapema nikupitie, and then yes, tukifika you'll find that maybe nafanya something else, then he comes. Kama for example ninafua, he'll go take the food if haijapikwa, aanze kushughulikia, and then ataniambia nishafanya hii, you can be doing this other thing. In another instance, you'll find that maybe chakula ishaiva, mtoto anataka kulala. He'll take the food and feed the child. So at the end of the day, I feel appreciated and feel as if I am alone in this marriage. We are together.
So what does that one make you feel?
It makes me feel better.
And by the way, you realize when people in love, hawachiani ati unasema hii ni yako, hii ni yako. Ukiona watu wakisema hii ni yako, hii ni yako, kuna pahali love imetigiara au imeenda chini kidogo, kiwazi, mafuta imeenda chini, nataka kuongezwa. Because you can't keep saying I did my part, that was your part. Yes. So I want us to discontinue for now so that we go to the class discussion. We continue with the two others as we learn, just very briefly, and then look at each one of us. Tutasema we mwenyewe ungetaka kupendwa, kuonyeshwa upendo waje. Kila mmoja ataongea. Na pengine our viewers, you also tell one another. So that it is important that maybe you have never told your husband or your wife, I would want you to appreciate, or I feel loved when you do this.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, viewers. We are going to shortly be in the class for the discussion.
Thank you.
Join us.
Thank you.
1 Corinthians 13 verse 13, and now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Love is the greatest of all feelings. How should you express love to your significant other? In today's discussion during the break.
Yes, we continue with our class where we stopped. We realized that we were only able to go through 3 of the 5 languages of love. Briefly, we say details. The first one is words of affirmation. The second one? Yes, and then the third one was? Acts of service. Now, we go to the fourth one, so that we are able also to look at how it applies to us. So, the fourth one is spending quality time together. I can see Jacinta smile. Now, she might be the first one to tell us, what does that mean to spending uninterrupted time together, exclusively together, without the children, without friends, without family, the TV or phone or whatever. So, this is what has been robbed of us with the media and all that. So, what do you think about it, Jacinta?
Okay, I think if I can tell about all these languages, I believe for is the one that I love the most, just spending time together. And for me, the reason why I love this spending time together, this is the position that we get to know each other better. This is the position where we are able to even exchange ideas. At some time, I can even tell my husband, just come, we just sit here. Kama hatuna kazi, kuja hata kama tu ni nywele tutasumbua, but we just spend that time together. Pia it's a time like, wacha tukue na ile utoto yetu sasa ile ya zamani. Unajua sahi career imeingia, parenting imeingia, but kuna ule kasichana in me that I want you to still bring out. And you can only do it kwa kuspend time pamoja.
Wow.
Yes.
Samuel, umesikia? Sasa on point.
Yes.
So you're going to do much of it?
We always do that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's a continuation.
Uh-huh.
We have a specific day. Yes,
Uh-huh.
we have a specific day in between the week when we schedule. Sometimes we go out on outing. Sometimes we can spend early in the morning. We just stay together. Maybe after reading the word, we share one another's feeling. Yeah, it's a very good time, an awesome time.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Somebody else to add something on that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes,
I
Maggie.
think it is the best time for couples to have that kind of a special moment for themselves. Like I remember for us, he was working late, he could come home late, but for me, I could come home early. So I could come early and prepare supper and now wait for him. And because we didn't have that time together during the day, we would spend the night sitting there, talking, telling each other's adventures of the day, how it has been. And then it could take time. We could even sometimes sleep at 3.
Wow. Wow.
And
So,
we have to wake up
now
in the
that
morning
you're
and go
saying
to
we
work.
used to, I hope now it
Yes,
becomes
right now it's better.
Okay,
it's
it's
not.
better.
It's
Nice.
no longer at night.
Okay.
At least now we have time together during the day.
That's very good. Wow. Okay, Abraham.
For mine is a very interesting experience. There was a time my wife had a problem with my phone, a lot. Because of a lot of schedules online, maybe there are some sermons are preparing, there are groups, some demonstrating, a lot of things. So nikifika nyumbani, kazi ingine inaanza. So I will be on my phone like even for 2 hours. Nimeingia around 7, so niko busy. Ameweka chakula hapo, ninakula nikiwa kwa simu. So one day, aliamua sitanyamaza tena. Kaniambia, utaniambia kama ni simu ulioa. So I really had a difficult time because maybe I'm very good in listening, but very poor in talking. So siongei sana lakini nasikiza sana. So my wife anaweza kuongelesha. One day akaongea nikastukia nimelala. Kaniambia, yani nakuongelesha na umelala. So I think I improved. Nilifika mahali sasa, I pulled up my socks.
Okay.
And nowadays nimekuwa very very careful. Nikiingia kwa nyumba, I know this is our time, her time. Kwa sababu hatujakuwa naye the whole day. So tunakuwa naye, tuna watch news pamoja, tunaongea. Sasa kama kuna shughuli zangu, I create extra time. So ninaweza amka 3 nifanye hizo shughuli, lakini hii time yenye nimekuja, I just leave it for her.
True. Thank you. I hope our viewers, you're also understanding something. That we said, eros is love that is usually very fragile. If you don't take care of it, what happens is it is easily vanquished or distinguished. Okay, is it extinguished? Or not distinguished, extinguished. Au kuzimika. Unasikia, maybe the what he's saying about being very busy during the day, and then you come and it's like you don't have that time. It is the one which is always pushed to wait, to postpone. Yet you realize it is the one which said it oils everything else. You hear now, after setting that time for her, I believe she no longer asks who married who. Hiyo swali ni gumu Tasema ni nani ulioa simu au mimi. Okay. Aya, any other? Okay.
I want to add something. People always say there is no time, but I believe you create time for what is important to you. So if your marriage is important to the other person, you always create that time.
Yes. Yeah, true. Somebody said there is nothing like time management. When we talk about time management, we always have the time. But what we need to do is to make sure that what is important to us fits in that time. Because sometimes what is not important is what eats the time. So we say we don't have time. But if we have only time for those that is important. Yes, Abraham, you want to add?
I did a little demonstration some time back, just to trying to find myself. Why am I not having some extra time for my family, especially for my wife? Na nikarealize hii TV ni mzuri lakini pia ni dangerous. Na there is one evening nilikuja nikasema, oh, what happened? My token nika run out. Around saa 2 hivi. So we were without power, TV is off. That is when I realized kumbe kuna kuwa na time. Very long time. And for that matter, even my phone had no power. Ikazimika.
Your second wife.
So nika realize one thing nika realize, okay, kwa hivyo hii TV spends, because now umefika nyumbani saa 1. Mimi napenda news. I watch the news, hiyo itaenda kama mpaka saa 1:30. So unapata within no time, saa 4 imefika. Umechoka, umeingia, umeshawa, umeanza kusinzia. So I realized if we can discipline ourselves, and that is what I'm practicing now. Nimepunguza hizo programs na I think it is working for me. So tunaweza punguza, tupunguze hiyo time tuna spend kwa TV, tuirudishe kwa marriage.
Whatever it is, you must create time. Yes. The last one, so that we can discuss more, is the 5th one, which is the physical touch or touching. The physical expression of love. Holding hands. You tell me it's not African. Kissing. Sijui ni gani mnafikiri iko African hapo. Hugging. Playfulness. Kucheza. Zote mnaweka X. Kuna wale hata kama huja sema X unasikia hiyo siwezi fanya. Ati hiyo dhambi. Haya. You know, we said playfulness, or like the time we were talking about last time, joking, eh? Yes. That joking and all that. Maybe the utaweka thick ni sex. Hiyo mtaweka X. You're married. Oh, meokoka. Physical touch. Physical touch. I've said holding of hands, kissing, hugging, playfulness, or playing games, and sex. All that is part of physical touch, and is another way of expressing eros. Okay. Now, nielezwe.
Kuna a case ambayo watu wameoana, kijana ameokoka sana na msichana bado wameokoka, wameoana na wameanza kukaa pamoja. Wiki ya kwanza they are okay. Lakini wiki ya pili kijana anasema hataki kukosea Mungu. So hataki kubuzwa. Wameenda wiki ya pili. When the wife comes closer, ni wakati wa maombi. And it has ended up breaking. Kwa sababu kijana anataka alale ili aote. Hataki kuguza bibi. Anasema yeye anaongea na Mungu wakati amelala anaota. Unapata ya kwamba hii ndoa badala ya kuendelea na ni watu wameokoka, ameweka ni kama kwamba Mungu alikosea akisema watu waoane. But inafika mahali mpaka wameachana. Na ukiuliza kijana anasema mimi sitaki nikosee Mungu wangu.
Then you would have done like Paul, be a eunuch. In fact, you see, Paul says, you know, not all of us have the same gift, but if you want to serve the Lord and you don't want to kushughulika na bibi au na bwana, then become a eunuch to the Lord. Give yourself to serve the Lord. Lakini kama umeingia ndoa,
ameingia ndoa,
then you have to do all that pertains to that certificate.
Na hataki hata hawezi akatembea hivi na wife.
Haya. George.
Yes.
You are a pastor.
Yes,
physical touch.
Myself.
Yes, now sasa we are doing wachana kesi ya wale wako nje. Tuko hapa.
In fact hiyo ndio mingi. Ndio inafaa kubeba ile uzito. Actually this is very important. Because as we said, as we were explaining Eros, is that Eros love is somehow unexplainable. It relies on very strong feelings. And these strong feelings, sometimes they are wired to move from one spouse to the other through a physical touch. people have neglected this, or many of the married couples have neglected this due to various things like traditions.
Yeah.
That kama mwanaume ama Kiafrika siwezi nikashika mke wangu mkono hadharani. But it is not, I think it is not a genuine reason, because people that don't hold their wives, their wives' hands, they hold elsewhere. Na wako comfortable, unashangaa kwani yeye ni Mwafrika kwake, si Mwafrika kule nje. So I think it is very important that we encourage this physical touch. And because we have decided, and this marriage was brought about by an informed decision, where I decided to marry Grace. So what else am I fearing? Who else am I fearing? That sitaki nionekane na Grace kwa sababu ya sababu hii na nyingine. So I think it should be encouraged and strongly encouraged that we encourage physical touch, whether it is kissing, whether it is hugging, whether it is playfulness, sex, holding hands. But actually, as Christians, because we are particularly giving all these lessons pertains to Christians, there should be a very good balance. Because what makes this physical touch unfit is when it is done in the wrong context.
True.
Because I am a pastor, and I cannot kiss my wife on the altar that I am welcoming her. That one loses the meaning, or inapoteza maana yake. But there are special times when I will satisfy this physical touch, and there are other times when I will act according to the context and according to the position where we are. Like I'm very cautious as a pastor when addressing my wife in the church. I don't call her sweetheart in the church, because unaweza kuwa tena umevunja moyo hata wengine ambao hawana. So there is a right when we are in the church. Mimi namuita Pastor Grace because she is a pastor too. But when we have our own time, I forget her name and I forget whether she is a pastor. I call her sweetheart, and that is the way we live.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, that's okay, and that's very good. It's important, as we are saying, that physical love is also, physical touch is another way of expressing love. As much as we tell people you love them, but sometimes you don't want to touch them. You know, when is the last time you held one another's hands and walk like this? You know, sometimes feels even, as you say, you transmit the electricity. And now that you are in genuine, true relationship, that's where it should be practiced. The hugging, the touching, and all that. Okay, they're that which we can do in public, but going holding hands like this in public is all right. If you're inviting your husband or your wife somewhere, then maybe you can just even like you say, people just hug one another. This is my wife. Or you meet somewhere. You can just even, like you meet in a bus stage, amekuwa trouble. Hugging is showing this is my prized possession.
Yes.
And that is going, hata inaweka muhuri kwa wale wote wanaona wanajua huyu ni wa mwenyewe kabisa. Thank you so much. I think our time is over. A lot that needs to be done about love. And I've said love has to do with everything about marriage. Thank you so much. I pray that God helps us to stir up our love. Yes, God bless.
Stay tuned for the next lesson to learn about how to motivate one another in marriage. To get the notes of today's lesson, visit www.mbcimedia.com/TMC. Catch the repeat of this episode on Tuesday at 10 p.m.